Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing today? Hopefully, you're doing well. Hopefully. If you're not, hopefully, we talk a little bit about some harbory things, some boat things, some unloady things, some minifig things, and it'll make you happy again. Or maybe you're kind of like, oh God, just something else I want for my city. Something else I don't want to shell out the money for. I hear you. The nice thing was we just got done, this past weekend, was it 3 days of having a, 2 times points Lego sale, right? You get double points for whatever your purchasers. And that's always a nice thing to be able to have for anybody. It's a way to go, you're like, okay, I really want bang for my buck. I really want the Lord of the Rings, the Eye. I can't remember what it's called. Or I want the Dungeons and Dragons set. But you know what? A big time expensive purchase like that, you're kind of like, now you're like, okay, now we can do that. And here's why. Because I'm getting twice the amount of points back. I'm getting the kickback that I really want. It's like using this credit card versus that credit card. If I'm going to get 3% back, I want that. If I get this from this one, if I'm going to get 1% versus 3%, I'm using 3%. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about the Harbor. 60422 has 1,226 pieces, retails for $110, 110 euros. Not too bad, right? You would assume something maybe of this size would be a little more expensive. I've got to say, though, as a whole, the Lego City wave thus far has been pretty affordable. Some of the jungle stuff, yeah, I felt like it was maybe a little bit overpriced just based on what you were getting. But so far, just about everything with Lego City, aside from the jungle stuff, because it falls under City, I still feel like they've nailed it. So you have a big cargo vessel here that is transporting loose cargo to and from to wherever you want around the world. The most important thing that you need to know as a parent is no, this will not scratch your floor. This will not scratch your tabletop. Well, it might still scratch a tabletop to a certain degree. On the bottom side of this, and I intentionally start with this because I usually get asked this question from time to time, especially with things that are of this kind of magnitude that don't have wheels, boats especially. Does it have a cheater wheel? No, this does not have a cheater wheel, but it does have that convex disc. Is it convex? Convex disc, the 2x2 that is on the bottom, and they have a bunch of them that are on the bottom so that you don't have to worry about this thing skidding across your nice hardwood floors or anything like that and leaving marks and cuts and nicks and dings and all that. So starting at the bottom, we start with an orange level tier here. And we move up into the dark green. I love this dark green mixed with the orange and then the white on top. So we have 4 different sections, 4 different layers here. Anywho, in the front and the rear, we have those big giant pieces, big chunky plastic pieces for the bow type pieces and everything like that. And believe it or not, with the amount of large plates in this, I'm really surprised that this isn't more expensive than what it is. So on this little ship dealio, we have 3 minifigs. We have a young boy who's a little scared. He's got the freckle face. He's a little fearful and happy. Depends on what face you want. New version of a hairpiece or newish hairpiece here. Kind of like the longer on the top and kind of cut short on the sides. Kind of, it's unique. I don't really remember seeing that before. He does come with a vest like all 3 of them do. So when you take his vest off, underneath you can see on his white shirt, which he is not wearing something for the cold, which is good. This is beach weather, right? It should be. His little tank top he's wearing has a little kind of a surfing sailboat on it. So you have that. Your other minifig, your other little dude here, he's got some wavy old Jonas Brothers hair going on here. And he's wearing a yellow, what looks like a button-up. Not a button-up. It almost looks like he's wearing a printed life preserver. Not going to lie. I'm not really sure what the idea of this is, but it is long sleeve. So maybe he's just preparing for the cold water. I don't know. Maybe it's his Under Armour. He only comes with one face, and it's just a chill kind of face. And then we have our female, who is she could be the pilot. She could be the captain. When I say pilot, I mean the person that comes aboard in local waters because they know the local water depth and where all the bad things are. They come aboard and float the ship in the rest of the way into the port. She, again, has a vest on as well. She has two different faces. One has glasses, the orange safety glasses, and the other side, she's smiley and perky and happy. Her vest that she is wearing a sweater. She's wearing a sweater. So maybe that boy's just way out of place. At this point, he might be suffering from hypothermia. Anyway, she comes with a wrench, and she comes with the dual molded hat, red hat, and ponytail with the darker brown hair. Anyway, on to the ship, on to the boat, on to the things that are most important. You have two cargo cells that are able to be removed when you get to the dock, when you get to the port. They are really simple, basic in nature in the way that they are built. You have the corrugated steel panels. One of them here is the teal color. Has a mini little wave runner that is in here, and that's just held into place by a few little studs. This is lime green, white, and black, very tiny. Has a sticker that is on the front, has the number 7 with some lightning bolts, and then it has a handle as well. Just plop that thing back in there and we're good to go. So on the very top of these cargo containers, you do have a little eyelet, and the eyelet is just simply there to remove your cargo. The other one, we have a nougat color, same kind of a build, the corrugated steel panel pieces here. And in here, we have this little kind of a jet boat that is going on. We do have the red and green lights on the rear for the appropriate lighting for being on the water. Does have a sticker that says number 8 with, it looks like a number 8, like a cue ball almost, pool ball. Has a steering wheel in here and a nice little kind of wave runner deal. I don't know what you really want to call that, but I'm a big fan of the way that it looks. Those sit down into two little recessed cells. It is no studs that it is attached to. They are just simply sitting down in there. On the front of the boat, we have a few different things that are in here. You have your cabins for your guys to be able to go night-night. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have a cabin necessarily to go sleep. You do have a cabin down here that does have an ability to put some storage that is in it. It does have steps that goes down in there. It is a door that just simply lifts up and you can get in there. You can put whatever you want in there. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. Maybe there's something nefarious going on. It's a ship out of a bad region and they're smuggling in Lepin. Maybe they're smuggling in some off-brand Lego. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? You silly rabbits. Anyway, in the front end of this boat, we do have two anchor points. When I say anchor points, the area where usually you would tie your anchors around, the chains would go around, or these could essentially look like anchors. It depends. There is no anchor that comes with this boat. Unfortunately, that is a thing that I was a little sad about. I was hoping that you would have the ability to drop the anchor. Not a thing. It does have some safety rails, the bendable tubes up here on the front to keep you safe. And then it does have some kind of lighting pole that is up here, whatever you want to imagine that to be. It could be a light. It could be some kind of transponder. It could be anything. So as we move behind the cargo cells, by the way, there are stickers on each side of the boat. One says cargo and one has the cargo logo. It's identical on each side of the boat. But as we move towards the back end of this, where your main focus is for all of your minifigs, you have a little buoy that is here, a little life float that is here to be able to throw out to keep everybody, if somebody goes overboard, I can only imagine. God, can you imagine? That must be terrifying to go overboard. So let's start at the top. On the very top of the roof here, we have our standard kind of ship top piece here with our transponders and our radars or whatever it might be. We've got a smokestack just to the rear of that. And I do appreciate the level of detail that they went to create this because it actually continues the whole way down into the engine room. Big fan of the way that looks. On the front of this, we have our standard solid piece of glass here with all the little windows that are in here. There are a total of 6 windows, but only 4 are the ones that you can punch in and out. You have some lights that you can adjust just down below the windows there where your captain is. They're clear lights as well. You have 4 on the top as well. Inside of the wheelhouse, you have your wheel. You have a 1x2 tiled gauge here that is printed. You have your coffee cup, of course, that is super important. And you have your respective red and green lights on the side. That section can be removed. It is attached by 4 studs and 4 studs only. Have some more windows that are down here around the engine compartment. Big old V8 Turbo Max Plus diesel with hyper drive. There's a Toy Story reference in there somewhere. Anyway, you do have that. If you heard that click, you can actually take this engine out. The interesting thing about it is on the hinge pieces, so you can actually maneuver the top compartment of the engine, whatever that is called, around. I do like that idea. Maybe your engine is broken down. Maybe you need to take it out at the next station and have it fixed. Again, playability. It is a playset. You want to have all that little extra detail that is in here, just like the smokestack that I had mentioned. It all goes together, and it all goes together really, really well. So you drop your cargo sections back in, and your boat is ready to dock. Where are we going to dock? We're going to dock at the port. The port is super important. I did not mean to port and important there. That no weird kind of offshoot pun. Nothing was intended there. Now let's get to the thing that you would have died for as a kid. I know I would have. Not coming from a well-to-do family or anything, would have definitely loved to have one of these babies in here just because they are, man, you could have given me anything from Lego City. But man, to be able to have this, the dock, yes, the port, whatever you want to call it, I'm all in. So we've got a bunch of minifigs. We'll touch on the minifigs a little bit as we go. We're going to go from left to right in the way that this thing is attached. The way, if I'm not mistaken, it is built this way as well. I believe so. Anyway, so we have our big docking port section here with our crane. The crane is movable. The crane has a chain on it with a hook, so you can lift that cargo off of your ship. I really do appreciate the way that this is done. You actually, believe it or not, this entire thing is built up off of plates that are blue to make it look like it's on the water, or the water is at least right there, maybe not the whole way through. Love the way that that is done. They even go so far as adding in some the cheese wedge slopes tiles here for in clear, like, you know, the sudsing or the splash of the water. I love it, and it's on every module. It's not just this one; it's on every one of these modules because there's multiple modules that you build and then hook everything together. Alrighty, so when you first dock, there is I guess you could say it's kind of like a ladder here. It's not really so much a ladder, but it is a grill piece. There are tires. There are rubber tires on chain pieces, and they are simply there to be able to buffer the boat from the port. Brilliant. Detail. Again, detail, detail, detail. Your crane is basically built up of a lot of Technic section idea pieces. When I say idea, solid red plastic uprights. You've got a bunch of axles. You've got a bunch of hinge points here with pins. All of those things that are needed to make a build like this work flawlessly. I'm sure there's some kind of engineering feat here with these axles and stuff like that to connect. Not sure what it's called. I'm sure there's kind of some kind of tensile strength or something like that. Some kind of really cool word that I don't know about. However, it is there. On your crane, you've got some lights on the front and on the back, the orange lights, like, hey, it's in operation, be careful. And they actually use the triangular tile pieces here. Instead of making a bunch of printed pieces or stickers for your red and white striped lines, you make them with brick plates. So I like that. You do have stickers that are on the side of that, which is not a big deal. You have sections where you can drop your cargo, your 2 cargo pallet sections, and they just flawlessly stick right in place. They don't move. They're not studded in. They're just held into place by the 1x4 brick, the rounded brick pieces that we usually see on like a facade or something like that on a building. So that is always nice to have, always nice to see. Your crane, like I said, it works easily. There's a gear that you use to lower your crane and lift it back up. You put it down, hook it up, lift it up, and then you rotate this thing towards the rear and reverse the process. Instead of just lifting, now you are dropping it back down and off you go. One of the minifigs that comes in this bag is a dock supervisor, maybe that's what we want to call him. He's just making sure everything is fine. Comes with a radio. He's got blue hands. He's got some blue gloves, which is kind of weird. I've never seen blue work gloves, but cool. He's got a goatee that he's got going on, and he's got a construction hat with a construction vest with some brown pants. We're going to leave him right here on the dock where he prefers to be. He's just a dock kind of guy. So that section comes apart from the next section that we're going to talk about, and everything is just Technic pinned together. Very simple, very basic. Build the structure, pin together. Build the structure, pin together. Before we continue any further, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. The next little section that we have here is kind of your walkway from the dock area where you're unloading the cargo to heading towards town into the beach. So what you have here, you have some chains that are up on some posts. They are meant to be, the safety rails so that you don't fall into the ocean, into wherever the boat traffic and stuff is. We do have 2 minifigs here again as well. We have a female that has a white hat, construction hat piece, and her dual molded ponytail, a brown ponytail that is in here. And she's wearing a vest. She has her safety vest piece on underneath, blue gloves again, radio as well, and brown pants. There is one thing I did forget to mention. The dude that is working on the dock, he does have a hair piece as well. It's the black receding hairline piece. So I guess if that's important to you, that is a thing you need. Then we also have our lovely little girl here who is going crabbing. She's got her crab net. She's trying to catch her crabs to be able to feast. She has on purple pants, short legs, of course, and then her top, which she's got on a top that is, her arms are hanging out, from her shoulder. So, it must be some kind of warm there. Her hairpiece that she has covers up her face. She's got an open mouth face on the one side with shock, and then the other where she's just smiling. But she has 2 big, rounded, puffy pigtails, I guess, if you want to call them buns, whatever you want to call them. On her shirt, though, she has some fruit, believe it or not, which is kind of odd, but whatever. Maybe they're doing fruit at the dock. So along this dock section, we have a little bench that is in green here, the dark green. You have a pole that is here. And here's what I love. Okay. The light post, it looks great. It really does. They have another sticker here that says loading. It is of the picture of the robot from the ride. We just cannot get away from it. So you have that there. And then you have another one with a race car and it says go. So there's that. Maybe you want to have the little go-kart track that you're going to go to. There's also some flowers that are around the bottom. There's a map here. This is a sticker as well. All of this stuff is stickers, but there is a map here and it shows the dock itself. It shows exactly where you are with that kind of little icon, right? You see you are here. You can see where the unloading crane is. You can see where the beach is, and you can see the next building that we're going to talk about. So really cool. Plus, you also have your little crab guy that is hanging out underneath the dock, which maybe he's like, yeah, I don't think so, little girl. I need to get away from you, crazy, you creepo. Anyway, moving on to the next section. We have a few different things that we have to talk about here because it is the largest and most in-depth section of everything so far on this build. The crane, yes, it was big, it was bulky and stuff like that. This is just completely different because there's a lot more detail with this section. So we've walked past the bench. We're getting ready to walk into the common areas and see what's going on and go enjoy the beach, do whatever we're going to do today. There is a life float tube, whatever you want to call it, that is standing here, that is attached to a post just in case something were to happen. It is there. I need to pay more attention next time I go to the beach or to the coast in general and see if there's anything like that there. So your building here is 2 sections. We have chains along the bottom here, along the dock as well. Again, safety foist. Got to make sure everybody is safe. Well, I'm losing stuff, man. All my fishies are falling out. So this section right here, do you want some ice cream? Yes, you want some ice cream. So you can come here, you can do some ice cream, eat some ice cream. This is your little ice cream shop. Obviously, there is a print, or not a print. It is a sticker that is on a long tile here, and there are 2 different things on here. The first of which are your different ice cream cones that you can get. You can get different flavors. You can get a popsicle if you so choose to do that. So you have that opportunity. On the inside of the shop, there is an oar, believe it or not, in here. And there's also a vest that is hanging on a hook. There's also a surfboard, which I'm assuming would be a paddleboard at this point in time. So a little bit of play feature idea function here. So that could be fun. Your minifig that is running the location is your ice cream barista. Are they baristas in an ice cream shop? I feel like that fits. She's holding a 5 coin. It could be whatever, 5 cents, 5 pfennigs. I don't think pfennigs are in metal coin. Anyway, been a minute since I've took German. She's got her gray hairpiece on here. She's smiling on one side and just her mouth is closed and with a smirk on the other. Her vest that she is wearing, that she's got going on, is the teal and the white with the pink lines and teal legs. She's just hanging out, serving some ice cream, making all the kids and the whoever's coming to visit happy. Let's just say that, not whoever. So when you exit the front of her store, you have an option. You can walk under the stairs and go to the beach, or you can walk up the stairs and go to the next store on the 2nd floor. So this one, there is a white door that you open. It's got a cow horn that you open it with, and it's a pizzeria, which is kind of odd because it's got a crab that is on the outside, but you know what? I lie. It's not a pizzeria. This is me assuming, right? It's a 2x2 round tile that has a sticker on it. It is of shrimp or ceviche or whatever, some kind of seafood that you may be eating. I just automatically assume it's round. It looks like a plate. It's pizza, the way Lego City has done it forever. However, what you do have here is you do have a little crab on the outside for the sticker to show you, hey, this is a seafood restaurant, which when I looked at it and I said pizza, I wanted to smack myself upside the head. And I was not going to go back and edit it because I want you to know that I make mistakes a lot. Anywho. But on the inside of this dealio, you have 2 chairs, you have a table, you've got whatever they're eating, you've got 2 clear glasses, maybe it's a martini, maybe it's something else, maybe it's just water. And then you have a green bottle here, whatever is in the inside of it. You have 2 sets of windows here. They can actually open outward. You can open the framing, so that is nice. You've got a ledge that has some flowers. Nice texturing detail. They use a wheel well piece, one of the more straighter wheel well pieces here above the eyebrows of the windows. So that is nice. We got some oars just underneath the flowers. Towards the top, we have some more tiling and some sloping that is going on. We've got 2 blue flags that stick out on either side, one on each side. And then we have a big ship's wheel that actually can spin the whole way around. And you know, me just sitting here talking about it, I just want to spin it over and over and over and over. This attaches to the top. It only attaches by a few studs, but it is securely enough. So you come back down the stairs. What do you want to do? Well, I don't want to go to the beach yet. Okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, actually, I would like to do some far off sightseeing. There's a pair of binoculars here that is on top of a post, so you can look out and see what's going on. And you can actually walk out onto a wooden dock here that uses the 1x1 tiles that are printed to look like log cut pieces. There is a barrel that has a fish in it, so you can do that. This is where my homeboy comes in to go fishing. I'm going to assume this fisherman here, he's wearing his fisherman garb. His pants, the color of his pants, and the printing of the blue of his top on his, what do you want to call it, overalls, do not match. That does bug me. It 100% bugs me. They are darker pants. The pants are darker than the color of the print. That should have been a little bit darker because he does have a white top. He's got a very, very, very white beard that he's got going on, and he's got what you would consider like a knit hat, which they seem to do with all the fishing stuff. And he's got a fishing reel as well. But I believe he could be the wife of the owner of the ice cream shop. It would not shock me in the least. So now you have an option to do a couple things. Remember when I said the ice cream shop, there was a big, long, silly sticker. Well, it was really long. And on the bottom part of that, what you actually have is you have an option. You can pay different amounts of money to be able to go do different things. You could just go to the beach, which I don't believe you have to pay for, or you could pay some money to go on a boat tour. You could pay some money to go on one of the boats, the blue boat that we talked about. You could pay some money to go on the jet ski that we talked about, because that is the cargo that is being brought in. That is what is going on. So I do like that. I do like that reference. Now, the last thing that you can do is you can go to the beach, right? You can walk your happy little patootie down to the beach, get some sun, get some rays. There is a little towel, brick built towel that is laid out here, an umbrella. It is not a brick built umbrella. It is a solid piece. It can be moved up and down because it is on a clip. And then when you're done, you've got to get rid of all that salt and brine and everything like that. You've got to walk back up, take the steps up out, and there is a shower here. Turn the handle, water comes out. It looks like the water is coming out already. And then you have a tile water piece on the bottom, kind of like that splat piece. And details, texturing, design, all that kind of stuff. And then on your way out, you walk past the crate that has some fish, grab a fish, go do your thing or whatever. I don't know. So the set as a whole is very fascinating to me. There's a lot of playability here. There's a lot of different things that you can do. There's a lot of different things that you can play around with. There's a lot of different ideas of things that are going on. Like I said, the little girl with the crab net, are you going to go crabbing? Is she going to go crabbing? Are you going to help her go crabbing? Or is the old guy, is it her granddaughter? A lot of stories to be told here. The other dock worker, is she going to be okay? Maybe somebody falls in the water and they have to be rescued. I'm just saying, we've got a jungle plane that can land on water. Maybe the jungle plane landed here and, they're coming to eat some seafood. All of this stuff intertwines. And this is what is so fascinating, because this is how kids think. Kids don't just look at it and say, oh, it's just a crane. What else can I do with it? Nothing. No, they look at it and they say, oh, I could do this, and oh, I could do that, and look, and he's doing this, and now they're friends, and he's going to help him do this. And before you know it, they put wheels on this thing and it's motoring around, right? There's so many different things that can be done. And that's just how creative kids are. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. The set as a whole, $110, 110 euros. Like I said, I think that is very solid. I told you there were a lot of big chunky pieces. Considering this is only 9 cents for your average part, your piece, I think that is solid. I could have at least seen this up at like 14. The design team did a really good job of keeping the price low, but giving you quite a bit of things. The way that they build up each section is real simple. It allows you to be able to go get common pieces that you probably already have, to be able to get common pieces you already have, build the platform and extend it if you want, or maybe you want to do something completely different on your own. You can do that. And that is the great thing about it. That is the great thing about Lego City, especially something like this. So aside from the few things that I had mentioned, the minimal complaints that I had, I think it's okay. The minifig of Grandpa Fisherman, that bugs me. That 100% bugs me. It definitely needs a little bit darker color, just ever so slightly. The boat, I think, is great. It's a nice addition. Somebody's going to say, well, I wish there was a sleeping quarters. Who really puts their minifigs to bed? Do kids? Maybe not. Maybe, mom or dad yells, grandma yells, hey, it's time to go to bed. And, they're in the middle of playing. Okay, hang on. I got to put Jimmy to bed. And they put Jimmy in their little bunk and, they close it up and then they go to bed and they come back and then they play the next day. I don't know. Other than that, there's really not much of a need for it. It's like people with video games, for instance. And I say this because there's so many new games that are coming out within the year. And there's some people are like, oh, well, they didn't put this in the game and it really adds immersion. But you're only going to do it once or twice and be like, oh, that was cool. And then you're going to click, escape, enter, X, B, A, whatever button and you were playing, whatever system you were playing on to get past it. You're like, I don't want to see that. And, that's the thing. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. So it doesn't really matter. You don't really need a sleeping quarters. You could make one if you wanted. You can make your own little hotel, a tiny little hostel along the water's edge. There you go. How about you do that instead? See, creative process comes from all of these things, right? So as a whole with this one, I do like it. I think it's a fun little play set. I appreciate the little details that are, added in. Like I said, the smokestack on the boat may not seem like a big deal, but there's going to be somebody that complains if they don't. And the design team, they might take it seriously and be like, whatever, it's not a big deal. But if there's a way that they can get it in there, of course they're going to get it in there, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to give it a solid, I'm going to give it a solid 8.5. I'll give it a solid 8.5. I wish the wooden dock was a little bit bigger. The umbrella is kind of in a weird position. It's kind of in a pain in the butt spot because it butts up against the steps leading to the seafood restaurant. That is kind of a little pain in the booty. But other than that, I don't really have any issue with that. I do appreciate the call out again to the amusement park. Can we please do it again? Any other call outs towards this thing? Like, we talked about it on the bus on the last episode. I'm surprised there wasn't one on the car hauler. This car is going here, whatever, something. So that's going to wrap up this episode. We have one Lego City episode left. It comes down to the two construction vehicles, which are both incredibly well done. One definitely has some problems that need fixed, and the other at $110. I think you were going to be astonished at the ability of play that comes from it. So that's on the next episode. Until we meet again, I'm your Minifigure host, Matt. Let's build on it.